In New York City, amid the pomp and circumstance of the United Nations General Assembly, there's another more personal story unfolding. Meet Naghmeh Abedini, whose husband, a U.S. citizen and a pastor, has been imprisoned in Iran for a year this week. His crime? Well, he's accused of threatening Iran's national security with his, quote, Christian faith and activities, unquote. Naghmeh's been fighting for his release, but a shift in Iranian leadership has given her some hope that something may finally change. So she flew to New York for the UN meeting, and she found herself coincidentally staying in the same hotel as the new Iranian president. Yesterday, she spotted his entourage, presumably him in the middle in the lobby, and she hand-delivered a letter to his delegation from her husband, Saeed Abedini, written from inside his prison cell, pleading for his freedom. And joining me here in New York to talk about this is Naghmeh Abedini. So tell me about this letter. First of all, it must have been strange, bizarre to see Rouhani and his delegation walking through.
Yes, I could tell they were speaking Farsi, that they were securing the area, but I saw a big group, which I assume Rouhani was in the middle. As I approached them, there was a few seconds of what will happen, will I get arrested?
Correct.
But as I approached them, I was able to talk to a delegation and hand Saeed's letter over to him and introduce myself and ask them if they would make sure President Rouhani would receive a copy.
And you have a copy of the letter. Can you read us part of the letter?
Yes. Towards the end of the letter, Saeed writes, "My wife and children, as well as over 1 billion Christians in the world, seek God's justice and your consideration of this matter. Please take immediate action in this regard and do not let me and a lot of people in my ward become the victims of the fire that extremists have made, those who have turned Iran into a vortex of crisis. Considering the fact that I came to Iran to serve the orphans, please do not let them make my children orphans and my wife without a guardian."
And basically he's accused of proselytizing in Iran, and you deny that, he denies that. But how hard has this year been for you? I mean, it must be just awful.
Yes, but actually he wasn't accused of evangelizing.
Right.
His charge was undermining the Iranian government.
Right.
The basis for the charge was Christian gatherings.
Right.
But it's
I'm sorry, I was simplifying.
Yes.
Irresponsibly.
It has been a very difficult year. My daughter just celebrated her 7th birthday, and this is the 2nd year without him. And she said, "How many more birthdays, Mom?" And I didn't know what to tell her. And it's been very emotional. It's been a lonely road for all of us. Saeed's been in prison. I've been traveling mostly. My kids have been with people, different people taking care of them, especially my parents have helped. And you know, it's been a very emotional, very trying time, especially for them. They're 7 and 5, and they don't understand it.
He was sentenced to 8 years in prison?
Yes, which the thought of it is horrible. We don't know if he would survive the 8 years. We don't know if the Iranian government would up that. And just the anniversaries coming up reminds
on the 26th, I think?
The 26th is the 1 year, but the second birthdays and second Christmases remind us that really the kids are growing up without him, and our family is different. And you know, looking back to that last year, we were together, we were a family, and this year they spent Father's Day alone, graduation from kindergarten, they were alone. I was in Geneva speaking before the UN. Saeed was in prison, and our whole family has been torn apart physically.
It's horrible. I want to bring in your lawyer. You and your husband are represented by the American Center for Law and Justice, and its executive director, Jordan Sekulow, joins us now from Washington. Jordan, you've been receiving some support from the Obama administration and calling for Saeed's release. Secretary of State John Kerry has put out a few statements recently. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, tweeted last week, quote, "Those missing or unjustly detained, including Amir Hekmati, Saeed Abedini, and Bob Levinson, must be returned home." She's returning to 2 other Americans being held or missing in Iran. Now, you've been working on this case since it happened, basically.
Right.
Do you feel like Naghmeh and Saeed are getting enough help from the Obama administration?
Well, we did believe, Jake, and thanks for having us on today, that the president, any preconditions that were set, and obviously it looks like this meeting won't be happening between the president of Iran and the president of the United States, should be, as Samantha Power, our top ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, tweeted, must be the release of Saeed and Amir Hekmati and Bob Levinson. Obviously, the meeting is not happening, but on September 26th, when those vigils are occurring across the country, and people can find out about them at BeHeardProject.com. It was interesting. Right before coming over here, I got a note from the State Department. The U.S. State Department even though John Kerry will be meeting with a delegation from Iran and the Iranian foreign minister on this date, on Thursday, the State Department is sending an assistant deputy secretary of state to join our vigil here in D.C. that I'll be at. Naghmeh will be in Boise, Idaho, to join us at the vigil in front of the White House to pray for Saeed. So that is a very positive sign. I want to thank the State Department. I hope Secretary Kerry is reminded of Saeed when he's meeting with that foreign minister on Thursday.
And I want to give you the opportunity right now. What would you say to President Rouhani if he granted you an audience? What would you ask?
I would say that this is the best platform for him to prove his words, that he is moderate and that he wants to bring more freedom to the Iranian people, and he does want to free a lot of the political prisoners. This would be and his relationship with the West, this would be the best avenue. Recently, Billy Graham wrote a letter telling him the exact same thing. If you want to work, this would be the best chance for you to start working with a good relationship with the U.S. would be to release these prisoners, especially an American citizen who is in prison based on a simple violation of his human rights, of religious freedom.
We've had you on before. I hope I don't have to have you on again. But if he stays in prison, we'll have you on again.
Thank you.
And we'll keep talking about Saeed until he's out.
We appreciate your coverage.
Thank you, Naghmeh. Appreciate it.